Alright, hey guys, and welcome back, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. In today's video, we're going to be going to Petco or PetSmart. I think Petco, but I'm not quite sure yet. And we're going to go ahead and save every single feeder minnow that store has. So now, a quick backstory. So feeder fish are often kept in like very crowded aquariums, bare, no rocks, no plants, nothing. Just a bare aquarium, and the water is normally very, very bad, full of ammonia and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and buy every single feeder minnow they have and give them a nice new home and clean water and lots of places to hide and have a good time being a minnow. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw you over to the car. We're gonna go ahead and head over to Petco, I think, and go pick up some minnows. So I just made it to Petco, as you can probably see back there, and I'm gonna be running in there and buying every single feeder minnow that they have. This isn't gonna be like, oh, I'm buying all of them and I only get like 4. Like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna ask for as many as they have. They could have 100, they could have 3, I guess. I haven't been in yet, but I'll go ahead and film in the store, and then I'm gonna go ahead and ask for every single feeder minnow they have. So first off, scanning over the tanks at Petco, they have some plants, you know, pretty basic stuff, tons of platies. The store really has platies absolutely everywhere. Some sharks, some goldfish, pretty basic stuff. And then here is that feeder fish system. So it's divided into 3 tiers with the large goldfish, the small goldfish, and the minnows. As you can see, here's like a little overview of that tier. So we're gonna be getting everything in this tier, the minnow one. Can I just go ahead and get the last of the feeder minnows?
Yeah.
Okay, I just got back from inside Petco, and I'm not gonna lie, a little disappointed. We only got 13 minnows. I asked for all of them, this was all that they had. As you can see, the system was set up in like 3 tiers. There was the large goldfish, the small goldfish, and the minnows in the back. I asked her to clean out the whole section in the back, which is where the minnows were, and we got 13. But it's fine, it's perfect. It wasn't that expensive, so that was a plus. They're only like 20 cents a piece anyway, so it didn't really matter. But I'm gonna go ahead and run these guys home, and we'll go ahead and find a nice home for them where they hopefully will not be eaten like they would have been if they stayed at Petco. Okay, so I'm back from Petco, and we got our minnows right here. Now as for these guys, I plan to put them in the koi pond. I had some minnows in here, but I think I need to restock the pond. And the only predator of minnows in this pond is my skimmer, which hopefully won't be that big of a deal. I reduced the suction on it, so we should be good to go. By the way, let's just take a second to see how crystal clear the pond is. The pond is absolutely amazingly clear. The waterfall's doing great, the filtration system is doing amazing. Awaza really knows what they're doing when it comes to pond filters. As you can see, the pond water is crystal clear. Anyway, I don't just want to go ahead and add these minnows straight into this pond because they could have some sort of disease. For the most part though, they all look very healthy, but just to be on the safe side, I will be putting them in my turtle tank. Go ahead and start floating these guys. Now I already have a whole bunch of feeder guppies in here with this guy, and he doesn't eat them, so that's nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and quarantine these guys in here because if a fish has a disease, that disease cannot be passed on to turtles. At least 99% of them that I know of can't be passed on to turtles. So I'm gonna go ahead and acclimate these guys and release them into this tank. Once they've had some time to kind of get used to everything, I'm gonna make sure they're not showing signs of ick or anything crazy like that. Then they'll be ready to go ahead and go into the koi in a few minutes when these guys are used to the aquarium temperature. While those fish are acclimating, we can go ahead and check on the ducks. I went ahead and completely cleaned everything today. Their food and water bowl got washed. This got all washed for the most part. And it's all looking really, really nice and clean for some nice happy ducks who are trying to bite me through the fence. Stop biting my leg! They got their pool and their food over here for now, but the duck's house is now nice and clean. All we gotta do is put the straw back in. Alrighty, these guys are done acclimating, and I'm gonna go ahead and dump them into this bucket over this net right here. And right here we have all 13, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just drop them all right into the tank. Okay, so they're all in here, and we have an issue. No! He tried to eat them! So my turtle just all of a sudden tried to eat all of them I just put in. He was biting at them, and that's not okay. He wasn't even eating the ones that were in here. The ones that were in here have been in here for a long time, and he hasn't touched them. So we need to work something out. Okay, so I caught them back out, and I'm gonna go ahead and put them in this shrimp tank in this little breeder cup. Now in here, they can't pass any disease onto the shrimp, and they'll be safe in here and nothing can eat them. Once they're deemed healthy, they can go into the koi pond. Alright, so the ducks area is nice and dry. So now all I have to do is get their food and their water and their hay all back in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw you over to a time lapse of setting this all back up. What is this? What did you guys do? Alright, and just like that, the ducks got nice fresh bedding, fresh water, fresh food, and a fresh fly trap. They're good to go.
3 days later.
So it is a few days later and the minnows are ready to go into the pond from the little breeding container. Here are the remaining ones. I'm gonna go ahead and net these guys out, get them into an acclimation cup, and then we'll go ahead and float them in the fish pond where they'll go ahead and get used to the pond temperature, and then they can be released into the koi pond. Alright, so I got all the minnows right here. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to acclimate them. They will just float like that, but I do have some pond updates. So I went ahead and put these 2 elephant ear plants in, and I moved these plants right here, the pothos and the water lettuce, to right here. But these elephant ear plants right here, I got them for free, and I'm hoping they'll go ahead and kind of revive. They're a little bit wilty, but they should come back to life in the pond. They're just planted in these pots at the bottom with some aquatic plant substrate and some stones, and I'm hoping they'll do really good. I'm hoping they'll get nice and big. But that's a little update there. We did get some new plants, so that's cool. And then the other water lettuce is right over there. So now all we have to do is go ahead and wait for these guys to acclimate, and then they can go in the pond.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So it's been a few minutes and I just came out to go ahead and, you know, release the minnows, and the minnows are already in there. So I guess my little container just right there, I guess it sunk. But the minnows are chilling. You can see them scurrying around. There's a nice school of them. I might pick up a few more actually when Petco gets more in stock. I might go ahead and go grab a few more just because I think it'll be cool to have a nice school of like 20 to 30 minnows in here. Because minnows are really beneficial. They eat mosquito larvae, so mosquitoes can never grow in your pond, which is always a plus. And last but not least for the pond, it's time to go ahead and dose new algae. If you remember, new algae is an all-in-one kind of pond balancing thing. It basically creates a perfect balance in the pond between algae and fish and plants. And it basically just helps keep the water crystal clear, which so far it's been working amazing. As you can see, we no longer have any crazy hair algae. The pond is doing absolutely great. So I did end up going back to Petco and buying a few more. This time I'm just gonna go ahead and throw them all in the turtle tank. There'll be enough to where if he eats like 1 or 2, it'll be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just heavily feed him pellets. And then once they're in here and they've just done well, hopefully, then I'll go ahead and move the remaining ones to the pond. On the topic of ponds, this little mini platy pond, there's a whole bunch of baby platies in here. You might not be able to see them on camera, but there's a few in there. There's one right in the center of the screen. There's actually a couple right there. So they're actually doing really, really good in here. The parents are still doing good. The filter, I don't think, is sucking in any babies, so that's really good. But overall, this pond is thriving. I mean, there's babies in it, and everyone seems to be really happy. So this pond is doing great. Alright, so the saltwater tank is just kicking into sunrise mode. But I will say you should stay tuned for Wednesday's video because I have a big piece of equipment coming for this tank. I'm really excited about that. That's going to be Wednesday's video, so keep an eye out for that. We can go ahead and feed some of the fish right here. Feed the fancy goldfish. These guys are pigs. All they do is pretty much eat. I mean, that's kind of all goldfish really do. The lights in this tank haven't even turned on yet because we are so early, but this tank is doing absolutely amazing. Just to point some stuff out, the parrot cichlid is getting huge. He's doing good. He's not very aggressive, which is nice because parrot cichlids can kind of get a little bit aggressive as they get older, but he doesn't seem to be bullying any of the other fish, so that's good. I have this bala shark right here. I would like to get a school of these going in my koi pond, but I'm just afraid they're not going to be very winter hardy, so we just got one in here for now. And then the last fish I'm going to talk about are the paradise fish right here. That guy's doing great. Paradise fish are like beta fish, but can be with other fish. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And then this big angelfish right here is also doing good. So the 55-gallon freshwater tank is thriving, doing amazing. Happy to update that. Now last but not least, I want to go ahead and talk about my planted tank. So the supplements I use are Flourish. I dose Flourish. And I've also been dosing this new algae stuff. This is the same stuff I dose in my pond. I thought I would also just try it in here to see what happens because it's been working good in my pond. But basically everything in here is doing fine except there's a large Chinese algae eater which I can't find right now. You can kind of see its reflection back there if you look in the side glass. But I have that large Chinese algae eater, and I got that Chinese algae eater when I got this angelfish. Someone was rehoming him and he came with the angelfish, and so I put them both in this tank. The angelfish is thriving. I mean, the angelfish is big, having a good time. But I'm a little bit worried about that Chinese algae eater. Now, Chinese algae eaters are like fine fish when they're small, like they'll eat algae, they'll do the thing, but as they grow up and get a little bit bigger, like this one is, they tend to suck slime coat off of the fish, putting the other fish in danger. Now, I haven't specifically seen it yet, but I have noticed that my angelfish tends to kind of stay like this, like at an angle and like up in a corner sometime. So I don't know if it's the algae eater stressing him out, because I do notice the algae eater does chase some of the fish around, like he'll chase him around sometimes. I never seen him like latch onto a fish, but still it's just something I have to keep an eye out for, because it is, I guess, a semi-aggressive fish that could pose danger. But overall, all the fish are doing good. The gourami's doing good. The angel's doing good. All the fish are happy and healthy in here, so that's a plus. So that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed us saving some feeder fish and giving them a better home than they would get at the store. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye.